Hey everybody, we are back on another video, and this is a top 5 video. In this video, we're going to be looking at my top 5 defensive players from the Detroit Lions versus the Houston Texans game. If you guys want to see an offensive video, just let me know in the comments below, but let's get right into it. Alright, so it's very simple, very simple. I'm going to be ranking from 1 to 5 my top 5 best players versus the Houston Texans in that last preseason game. Again, I can do an offensive one if you guys want me to. You just have to let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this one and you guys want to see something similar for the offensive side of the ball. But in this video, we're specifically looking at the defensive side of things. And we actually have 5 really good players. Now, I also do have an honorable mention where we will start off, and that is Darius Slay. Darius Slay played really well, but the reason he's not actually on the list is because he's Darius Slay. This is what we expect. Darius Slay is supposed to be great, but instead we're going to be looking at some other players. Maybe we haven't seen them a lot, maybe they're on the roster bubble, but Darius Slay is one of those guys that's completely not, okay? He's one of the best players on our defense, so we expected you to play very well. But now hopping into the list, coming in at number 5, we have a safety for the Detroit Lions, and that is Andrew Adams. Andrew Adams, a guy that we signed out of free agency, who I think a lot of people kind of just looked over. Like, I looked past that signing a lot because we've made a lot of bigger ones, and that was one I really didn't think about. But Andrew Adams is really good so far. He's came up with a lot of interceptions throughout the entire offseason. He also had another interception versus the Houston Texans. And now he did give up a TD, and that TD that he did give up, I thought he was in position to go make another interception, go make a play. And you could tell he probably thought he was as well. But he kind of just misjudged how far the ball would go and went over his head. It was caught for a touchdown. So that's why he's not higher on this list. But he did come up with that interception, and that's still big stuff that we need to see. And being in position is definitely good for when the season starts. He's definitely making a case to be on this team, and I don't think there's any way the Detroit Lions can keep him off of this roster. I don't know how much he'll play, but they can't keep him off the 53-man roster. He comes in at number 5. Now, into number 4, we have Jahlani Tavai, the linebacker from Hawaii, who we drafted in the second round. Jahlani Tavai, who had limited time for the Detroit Lions versus the Houston Texans, did come up with 4 tackles, but Jahlani Tavai is one of those guys that always seem to be in the right position. Like, every single time he's on the field, he's in the right spot. He's in spots to make plays. He does everything well. He's just an all-around a really good player for the Detroit Lions. And this is somebody, like I said before, not a lot of people like the signing. And if you still want Greedy, fine, that makes sense. I could see why you still want that cornerback position. But what we're seeing from Jahlani Tavai is a really good linebacker that can do everything, and he's definitely going to help out this team. I think Matt Patricia is absolutely going to love Jahlani Tavai once the season starts and he's able to scheme up teams, because he's going to be a weapon that he can use. He comes in number 4. Now, cracking into the top 3 like an egg. I don't know why like an egg, but like an egg, we have Miles Killebrew. Miles Killebrew, another linebacker now, went from that safety to that linebacker position, okay? And that was a big adjustment for Miles Killebrew, but we knew he could do it because he was so athletic, and he was a very big hitter. And in the first game versus the New England Patriots, he was one of those bright spots. Like, we didn't have a lot of bright spots, but he was one of the guys that did play very well. And again, against the Houston Texans, he played well again. He had 5 solo tackles and 1 tackle for loss. Overall, he's just a tackling machine. He knows how to find the ball. He's a big hitter, and we saw some big hits from him. He's going to be a guy that hits some people very hard. I would not be surprised if he forces a couple fumbles this season and he's on the field a lot, because he's going to be a guy that, against certain team, against certain schemes, against certain offenses, you put him in there at that linebacker spot because maybe he can spy on the quarterback because he's that fast. He's just so athletic because he was a safety, and now him moving to that linebacker position, he's one of the fastest safeties that we have, and he can be a matchup problem for offenses that try to look for mismatches on the defensive side of things. Miles Killebrew, keep doing your thing. You come in at number 3. Now, into the top 2, we have Will Harris. William Harris comes in at number 2, who had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Now, this is the obvious one, right? Everybody knows about the fumble recovery for a touchdown that Romeo Okwara and Amani really set up. But he did more than that, and it was his coverage skills that really sticked out to me. Now, we've seen it a little bit through the offseason, but we knew this guy to be a leader and a big hitter coming out of Boston College. But what he's showing us is his ability to cover, and that's why Will Harris comes in here at number 2. He's been a guy in the secondary that a lot of teams have actually not been able to throw his way because he's come up with a lot of pass deflections. He's always been in the right spot, very similar to Andrew Adams. Very athletic type of player, finds the ball very quickly, and that's my favorite thing about him. Again, he is a leader, and that's really good, but he also has a knack for finding the ball, and I think that's definitely going to help him for the season and to make this team. I don't see any way that he comes off this team. We traded up to get you in the 3rd round of the draft, and I'm glad we did. Will Harris, keep balling, man. You're going to make the team for sure. You come in at number 2. Now, into number 1. Who is it going to be, right? Is it going to be? Who's it going to be, okay? Who is going to come in at number 1? That's the biggest question, and you may already know. His name is Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Yes, Jalen, you coming in at number 1, and Jalen Reeves-Maybin absolutely deserves this spot. He's been playing well all offseason. He's definitely guy on securely on that roster bubble, right? is Jalen going to make the team? We were bringing all the linebackers in. They're like, there's no way Jalen makes the team. But then we just see him play, and it's like, how can you not put Jalen on the team? Like, that's my thoughts. Jalen Reeves-Maybin came up with 5 solo tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 pass deflection against the Houston Texans. He's been good versus New England Patriots. He was great versus Houston Texans. I think he was the best defensive player. That's why he comes in at number 1. And maybe the best player on the field versus the Houston Texans. Now, I wouldn't exactly say that, but if you guys want to see that video about my offense players, let me know. But again, Jalen Reeves-Maybin was great, okay? He came up with 5 solo tackles, but his way that he can defend the pass is what definitely sticks out to me at that linebacker position. Very similar to what other linebackers can do that are fast. That's what he is. He's not the biggest linebacker like Tavai or Kennard, but he also is a lot faster, very athletic, and he really can find the ball. But at the same time, he's also good at finding the holes. When they hand the ball off, he's good at finding the hole, because the offensive line's job is to create a hole in the defensive line for the running back to go through. Well, Jalen Reeves-Maybin has been good at using that hole to his advantage and finding the hole that the offensive line creates to hop in there and come up with a big tackle in the backfield. We saw it from Jalen Reeves-Maybin, a big hitter. He's coming up with a lot of big hits. He's also helping in that pass coverage game, and that's very important because you definitely need guys to do that at that linebacker position. We know how Matt Patricia loves his linebackers. So Jalen Reeves-Maybin comes in number 1. Those are my top 5 defensive players against the Houston Texans on Saturday. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you guys want to see a top 5 offensive players, just let me know as well. I may have a halftime video coming out. I'm not sure when. That one's going to be a little bit harder for this week probably. But it should be fun to do that as well. Again, make sure you guys hit the bell, okay? Because apparently you have to hit the bell when you subscribe. That's what I just found out. I mean, I kind of knew that, but I didn't really think about it. So just click the bell. If you subscribe, click the bell, okay? It's up to you if you subscribe or not. It's up to you. But if you do, just make sure you click the bell as well. Anyways, thank you, Pride, for watching, and I'm out.